Hey friends, John Laspina here, Carnivore Teacher. I'm going to talk today about changes that I made in my life, and you might want to consider making them in your life too. As you know, or maybe you don't, if you're brand new to my channel, I'm a carnivore. And I eat only beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fish, and eggs. I cook only in animal fats like butter, ghee, beef tallow, bacon fat, and chicken schmaltz. I eliminated carbs and sugar, starches. I eliminated all machine lubricants like canola oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, margarine, Crisco, all those seed oils, completely eliminated them 5 years ago. So now those are the only things I eat in my body, my life. Everything just improved dramatically. That's why I make this channel. I want to talk about some other changes that I made along the way. Under my kitchen sink, I went to Home Depot and I spent about $250 and bought a reverse osmosis water filtration system. I have my own tools, wasn't that hard. I installed it myself by following the directions. No leaks, by the way. And on top of my sink, next to my faucet, there's a dispenser. And I now have RO, reverse osmosis water, that's free of fluoride, free of lead, free of any toxic chemicals or heavy metals that I don't want in my water that might be in the public water that comes through our pipes. Now I remineralize this water by adding Redmond Relight unflavored minerals, so I get some magnesium, some potassium, some sodium, some other important minerals because I took all the minerals out. But that's one major change. Now that hose goes to the back of my refrigerator to make my ice cubes, and it splits off and it makes the water. So I do use that water to cook with, to drink with my ice cubes and everything. Now in my regular water around the house, in the bathrooms, it's still the regular water, but I'm not ingesting it. Is it getting on my skin? Is it getting absorbed through my skin? I think I'm doing a really good job with what I have. And I certainly could do better, but that's a change I made that you might want to consider, is filtering your water. Try to stay away from bottled water because the plastic that they're in heats up in the warehouses and on the factory shelves and in the trucks. And the bisphenol A, which is a phytoestrogen, leaches into the water and it messes up your hormone system because it mimics estrogens. So you want to try to really think about clean water. And there are things we have control of, and that's what I do. I have a water bottle that's made out of stainless steel. It's a thermos, and my reverse osmosis ice and water go in there, and I drink that all day. I carry it with me everywhere, even when I'm on vacation. I bring lots of bottles to fill that up with. Unless it's a super long vacation, then of course I can't reverse osmosis filter that water out. So you do the best you can. So I brought some items I want to show you here, things that you might want to change, things that I changed in my kitchen. We're going to take a look at aluminum foil first. So aluminum foil is great. We've been using it for years. Okay, aluminum foil. If hot food is not touching the aluminum foil, you can use this to wrap around the top of cold food or on a plate or a bowl or a dish to cover it. But you never want to cook or wrap anything in aluminum foil when it's hot and let it touch the food because the aluminum gets into the food. And aluminum is very bad for our mental health. It is one thing that shows up in every Alzheimer's patient. So you don't want to get aluminum into your bloodstream, as wonderful a product as this is. Instead of aluminum foil, you want to use, if you want to, you can use parchment paper. And so they have white parchment paper and brown. The white is bleached. I try to stay away from that. And I use the brown parchment paper. It's so that you can put things and they don't stick in the pans. And you can take it up to a fairly high temperature, not super high, and use parchment paper to line things with instead of aluminum foil. You can even use this around the tops of things and put a rubber band around it. All right, it doesn't get in there. I forgot to bring my butcher paper. I go to Home Depot and in the grilling section, I buy this big roll of butcher paper. It's the same butcher paper that butchers use. And when they used to wrap the meat up years and years ago, when they gave it to you and when you went to the butcher, that's just plain old butcher paper. And it's great to use it for grilling and anywhere in the kitchen that you would want to use aluminum foil. Use butcher paper, use parchment paper. Next is I changed some of my kitchen utensils. I used to use a plastic spatula because I had nonstick pans and I didn't want to scrape my pans. This plastic Think about it. It's plastic. It has bisphenol A or some other bisphenol in there. Leaches into the food when you're flipping things. It's plastic. You're getting it in your food. It's a phytoestrogen. It mimics estrogens in your body, messes up your hormone system. Throw out all of your plastic kitchen utensils. I do. And instead, you can use stainless steel spatula because you're not using nonstick, so you don't have to worry about scratching anything. If you are worrying about scratching something, you can get a bamboo. I love my bamboo wood spatula. I use this for everything. You can tell the color change because I'm constantly using it. And bamboo wood spatula, highly recommend it. Tongs, if you have any plastic tongs, get rid of them and go to metal tongs. Metal tongs. This part doesn't touch the food, obviously. This part does not touch the food, obviously. You want to have stainless steel metal tongs and not plastic tongs. You don't want to touch the food with plastic tongs. Let's take a look at nonstick. This is a nonstick pot that I used for years. Take a look at how all the Teflon is starting to come off and it's getting into the food. Look at that. This gets into the food. I saved this pot because I use it to carry, I put stuff in it, but not to cook. I like throw stuff in it and I use it as a vessel to carry things. But I don't cook in this ever anymore because the Teflon is coming off. And Teflon is very bad. You don't want that chemical in your body. Here's a pan. It's actually Cathalon, which is amazing, expensive. I bought this years ago. Take a look at the nonstick. The Teflon is scraping off and getting into the food. I don't use this anymore. I have trouble throwing it out because it costs so much, but I will not use it to cook with anymore. I won't. Instead, you can use stainless steel, you can use glass, you can use ceramic, or my favorite is cast iron. Cast iron is great. For pots, you can also get cast iron. This is solid metal. There's nothing to scrape off in there. And it's also Cathalon, but there's no non-stick in that. So you want to get away from your Teflon and your non-stick coatings and stick with stainless steel, cast iron, glass, or ceramic. Next, I want to share with you Tupperware. I have a whole bunch of containers of Tupperware. And they have Tupperware parties still. Pampered chef, right? And I still use these, but I will not put hot food in them or warm food in them. If I'm going to put any food in them, it's cold already. And then the bisphenol A from the plastic does not leach out into the food and go into my body, mimicking estrogens. So yeah, I still use these, but I will not put hot food in them, ever. So where do I store my hot food? I store them in glass bowls, glass dishes, glass containers, casserole dishes, and they do have plastic lids, but make sure the plastic lid is not touching the food, and you're fine. If you don't like the plastic lid, don't use it. Put something else on top, like parchment paper with a rubber band. Okay, next thing is something that I stopped doing, but if you're still doing this, I want to give you a tip. So that's coffee. If you're drinking coffee out of those pods, the Keurig pods, they're made out of plastic with an aluminum lid at the top. And they've kind of refined them, and now they have a little rubbery lid, which is still, I don't know if there's bisphenol A in that rubbery lid. Instead of plastic, it's like a mesh. They're supposed to be recyclable or to be put into a compost pile. I don't know, but if you're still drinking coffee, you don't want to pour that 200-degree water into plastic and aluminum. It's leaching into your coffee definitely. And if your coffee pot or your Keurig has any plastic parts and the water's going over the plastic parts, it's heating that up and the bisphenol A is leaching into your coffee. Instead, switch to French press. This is what I used to drink when I was drinking coffee. This is solid stainless steel. And then this is, I don't know if you know about French press, but you grind the beans, or you get already ground beans, and you put the grinds, you grind them coarsely, and you put them in here with the 200-degree water. This comes apart. I'll show you the parts. everything, everything. This piece, the fine mesh, and this piece, it's all stainless steel. There is not a single plastic part in this, nothing, even this. All stainless steel. When I was worried about it getting in my coffee, when I drank coffee, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting any bisphenol A in my body. So I would put the grinds in the water in there. I'd wait 4 minutes, push down, and then I would pour my coffee into a ceramic mug or a glass mug. Never use those paper mugs, cups they give you like at Starbucks or whatever, because they're coated with a plasticky coating, and that gets into your body. It's a chemical. So I recommend you stop drinking coffee if possible. There are thousands of chemicals in coffee, not to mention what caffeine does to your brain and raises blood pressure. There are more detriments to drinking coffee than not drinking coffee, but if you want to not give up coffee, try to make your coffee healthier by not using a Keurig or anything with plastic parts. Seriously. If you don't like French press coffee because it goes through a metal mesh, you can get a little filter. This is the same kind of coffee filter you'd use in filtered coffee. You just put that in the French press. So I wanted to share that with you, some changes that I made in my life other than food to clean my life up. I could talk toothpaste, I could talk mouthwash, I could talk deodorant, I could talk soap, I could talk shampoo. There's a lot of things to talk about and change to make your body and your life cleaner. Those are some of the changes that I made. If you're watching this video, I'm just hoping you'll let it in and think about your life. Is there something that you can change that you're doing that is not as healthy as it could be? Make little tweaks and little changes along the way, and they all add up. All of them add up and make you feel better and look better, and you're healthier because you're taking these chemicals out of your body. If you like this content, click the thumbs up, share my video with friends and family on social media, and please, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I wish you an excellent day.